This episode is brought to you by Mott's Applesauce. So you're looking for a snack your kid will love and you can feel great about? Give them a Mott's no sugar added applesauce pouch. Made from real, delicious apples and a good source of vitamin C, too. Perfect for tossing in a lunchbox or grabbing for on the go. Mott's. Real apples make real good applesauce. Learn more about Mott's no sugar added applesauce at Motts.com.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
War Eagle, and welcome to another edition of Ever to Podcast. This is the audio show on E2C Network where we catch you up on the latest Auburn news, topics, discussions, scuttlebutt across social media, and when you're out and about amongst the Auburn family, which can be about Auburn sports, Auburn culture, and Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say what we do, though, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much for joining us and what we're going to be doing today. This is episode 55 of Ever to Podcast. Today's date is August 21st, 2025, and it is a Thursday. So this may be the last one of the week. You never know. It's been a very busy week, so I always tell you to stay subscribed with notifications on for this particular podcast in case we have special episodes, but we're going to certainly get you prepped up for what will be the final week before football week. That's coming up. There's going to be a lot to talk about there. Certainly, we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about football-related things, big news that came out on Wednesday. We're going to discuss that today. It was just a plethora of news throughout the week. We're going to probably take a look at some other things within the football space, such as all SEC nominations. I'm going to take a little bit of an approach that's not Auburn-related in terms of the direct topic, but we're going to relate it back to something that's already happened with Under Armour and a few other things that we may get into. But let's get you started with this first. When we may think, well, this will be the last one for the week for Ever to Podcast, I want to give you what you need to be paying attention to this weekend in the Auburn sports space. Keep in mind, right now you do have soccer underway, but you also have volleyball underway as well in their preseason. Soccer will have two matches this week. Thursday tonight, they're taking on Southern Miss at Auburn. So get over to the Hoppa, as I call it. It's the Auburn Soccer Complex. We get over to the Hoppa and join us. I won't be there, but join the Auburn Tigers. The other fans that are going to be there they take on Southern Miss. There will also be a game on Sunday in the early afternoon, 2 p.m. Central Time, where they'll take on Kennesaw State. Usually that is a very good game. They'll also have volleyball in action in Atlanta versus Georgia Tech. Now, unfortunately, I've changed my plans this week, and I won't be able to attend that, but that is always a good matchup. They have a venue dedicated to volleyball, too, and it's a great raucous crowd that even showed up for the exhibition like 2 years ago that I went to. So make sure if you're in the Atlanta area, you want something fun to do, and maybe take a little trip up here to support Auburn, please do that, because that's always a great crowd and a great environment to be in. You won't regret it if you'll go support the Auburn volleyball team up there this weekend. So that's what's to keep in mind coming up this weekend. Let's start off with the big news of yesterday. As we've been talking about all week on all of our content, but especially in this show, every single day they have given something to us to just chew on, to just digest, something major leading up to the season. And nothing's happened yet on a Thursday, but it's just a matter of not if it's going to happen, when. But what we're going to break down here is the announcement that a lot of people probably joked about that was coming. A lot of people anticipated. And officially, yes, there will be a sponsorship laid out on Auburn's football field. And yes, it will be that beautiful pressure-treated pine from Jimmy Rain's company, YellaWood. Now, once again, as we've talked about all these weeks with all these topics, there's a lot of opinions. And once again, I ask you just to do your research before you react, before you make comments on social media and stuff, to make sure you don't come across as ignorant for yourself and for the Auburn family. Please make sure you are judiciously sharing your opinions and things on that. I think we all agree that in a perfect world, no one would like to see any advertisements of any way on Jordan-Hare Stadium's vicinity at all in a perfect world, but on the field. But this is the reality of not only the world of trying to maintain a college athletics program, specifically football, but also maintaining the NIL era. This was always going to happen on the road we're on, and there's no sense in complaining about it anymore. To be honest with you, we all understand that it's not our preference, but this is what has to happen going forward. It is nice to have a company that's so well connected to Auburn. Now, it's going to be a little bit difficult. If you've seen some of the pictures, we've shared them on social media, that yellow is going to stick out a bunch. But what I would highly recommend that you do with this partnership, because this is what it is, not just for Auburn, but with Pat Dye's legacy. I would highly recommend you go watch the video they released when they made this announcement yesterday. You get to hear not only from Coach Hugh Freeze, but Jimmy Rain himself, in explaining his thoughtful approach to how he wanted to do this partnership to help his program, his team, his school with the NIL needs it has, but to do it in a way that takes not just the focus onto him and his company, but makes it about something much bigger than himself. It is now a Pat Dye Field and presented by YellaWood partnership. So what will happen on the field is that now, not for the first time, because it's happened previously, according to people I've talked to, at least, but not on a continuing basis, from now on, at least for the next 5 years, is a 5-year deal. Pat Dye Field will be on the markers about the 25-yard line on each side, with YellaWood underneath it in a slightly smaller fashion. Now, it's still going to stick out because it's that big old yellow sign, the YellaWood sign. But Jimmy Rain explained in this video how his connection with Pat Dye, their friendship, how this was important to him for the focus to be as much as it could be on the Pat Dye Field part and not as much, or at least in a smaller way, about his partnership and his monetary value in this. So I love the way that they laid that out. I love the way they explained it. You would do well for yourself, for your commentary, for your opinions on this, to go watch that. But it's here. It's official. It's a big deal. This is what's going to happen in college athletics. You don't have to like it, but you do have to accept it because it's happening no matter what your opinions are on it. So that was the big third news story of this week that we had to drop in here to start off with. Let's cover a couple other football notes, and I've got some other tertiary things if we have time we can cover. Speaking of Coach Pat Dye, he is actually going to be, posthumously obviously, the recipient of this year's Legacy Award, which is presented by the Birmingham Monday Morning Quarterback Club. That is quite a name, to be honest with you. I always struggle to get it. So the recipient of this award is it's a national award that honors and recognizes the lifetime achievements of a college coach and his contributions to the game of football. And this year, Pat Dye will be the recipient of it. Obviously, somebody will be there to represent it for him. This feels like something that probably already should have happened, but I'm sure there's a long list that they're getting to on that. And there's just a big, good feel this year about recognizing Pat Dye, his legacy, all that kind of stuff that's going to happen at the first game too. Just throw this on top of that. It's just a feel-good moment for remembering the legacy of Pat Dye. In terms of awards or recognition, we'll keep in that space here. Yesterday, the SEC announced their all-SEC teams for the year. And yes, there are several Auburn Tigers across multiple of their lists. You've got a first, a second, and third team representation here for Auburn. On the first team, Cam Coleman on the offensive side of the ball and Keldrick Falk on the defensive side of the ball. That should not be a shock in any way to anybody that those are the two main people that people are thinking about right now on offense and defense, probably the most prominent representatives on either side of the ball there. On the second team for the All-SEC list, you've got Eric Singleton. I always forget to put the junior in there. I don't know if he prefers that or not, but Eric Singleton Jr., he is on the second team at the offensive side of the ball. And then on the third team, you've got two on offense and one on special teams. Xavier Chaplin, third team on the obviously as an offensive tackle, and then Connor Liu as a center is going to be on there too. But then also Alex McPherson, even having just come back from all of his health issues and hopefully back to full form this year, he's already getting that recognition because of how he started off his career, making third team All-SEC. So we'll see how this carries over, how it finishes at the end of the year, and compare it if we have time to do that when that comes out around that time, but this is how it's beginning. These are the people that everybody's anticipating Auburn having big names for themselves, and the SEC is recognizing them, and deservedly so. Here's some cool little topics here. I'll cover this one, and I want to use this more as a reiteration of following up on the Under Armour deal and all that kind of stuff. Reports are coming out today that South Carolina is going to be eventually, in upcoming years, transitioning from Under Armour to Nike, as Auburn just did. I want to reiterate, folks, that if you've lived under this notion that Auburn switched to Nike because of recruiting, I'm sure that always can factor into discussions and stuff, but that is not the reason. I think really the reason, and this proves it, that this is a company that is losing its footing on the college sports landscape. And I actually like them a lot, so that pains me to say that. So I just want to follow up on that to reiterate that if you bought into this narrative that this was about recruiting, the switch, no, it was not. This was about stability. This was about financials. This was about being part of a standard that's already there, a company that's going to be, it's already had its footing there and it's going to be around. That's what more this was about, and I think that reiterates that. And then a final fun topic for the day, just because I love to round out things in the Auburn space. Auburn food. Today is Burger Day. I don't know if it's national or international. I think it's just Burger Day. Somebody called it Burger Day. So we posed the question on social media, and I want to hear from you, either on that social media post, direct messages, or you can email us, as always, for anything, e2cnetwork@gmail.com. Where in Auburn or surrounding areas, Opelika or beyond, within that backyard, are you going to take me for a burger? Yes, because you have to. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to know, where are we going? Like, if I said it's Burger Day here at Auburn or around, where are we heading to get a burger? Let us know there, because there's some good places that you can eat burgers as well in the Auburn vicinity. That's going to do it for Ever to Podcast, episode 55. As a reminder, again, this will likely be the last one for the week. However, if there's enough news to warrant coming back before next Tuesday, we will certainly do that. But get ready, folks. Football week is almost here. Love to invite you to join us on Sunday night for the Auburn Experience podcast, our main show of everything we do, the live recording of that, and the show will go out to everybody in the audio format on Monday. We have a lot to look forward to. We'd love to see you Sunday night at 9 Eastern Time on YouTube. Thanks again for being here and being part of our little family within the Auburn family. So we talk to you again.
This episode is brought to you by Netflix. Becoming the most valuable sports franchise in the world doesn't happen without risk. A man who's willing to bet it all, and the players ready to make their own luck. America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, is the story of the 1990s Dallas Cowboys and Jerry Jones's impact on NFL history. Featuring interviews with iconic 90s players and more. Watch America's Team, The Gambler and His Cowboys, streaming now only on Netflix.
War Eagle.